Recording.
Cool.
Right. Also, I'm probably going to get rid of our intro logo.
Welcome back. Got the Carnival Dogs crew here. Today, we just want to talk a little bit about our food menu that's going to come along with our brews and the aesthetics of our tap room. We've been kind of developing our food menu for a few years now. And when we first started our whole process, we were going to have a food truck. And then we talked to a lot of brewers about the idea of a food truck. And we decided that we wanted to keep our food in-house. So then we're kind of tossing around, what kind of food menu do you want to have? Light bites, just some snacks, some appetizers. There was one night making myself a sandwich in the kitchen. Jacob wandered into the kitchen and says, "That sandwich looks pretty good. Can you make me one?" I said, "Sure, no problem." We're eating those sandwiches, and Jacob looked at me and he said, "Why aren't these on our menu? Why aren't we doing these sandwiches?" I'm a big sandwich lover. I love eating sandwiches. The sandwiches that I build, they're all crafted with a certain level of intention. When it comes down to the quality of all the ingredients, the most important part of any sandwich is the bread. That is the foundation. Every sandwich needs a particular bread. A hearty Italian bread, a sourdough, ciabatta bun, a brioche bun, Cuban bread for the Cuban sandwich. Then you get the innards of the sandwich. Typically, it's meat for the sandwiches that I build. Ideally, I would like to make a lot of the meats myself. Probably won't be feasible at the beginning. Enough of the meat. You don't want too much to overload the sandwich, but you don't want a weak-filled sandwich. Then you have the cheeses and the veggies and the sauces. I plan on making all the sauces in-house. You ever get a turkey sandwich and you got a tomato slapped on there and it's really thick cut and you try to bite the sandwich, the tomato pops out. You slice the tomato the appropriate size. You want everything to stay in that sandwich throughout the eating process. You don't want it to fall apart. Some sandwiches may if it's a sloppy sandwich, but mostly you want it to all stay together. So that is the core idea of our menu is sandwiches. I've perfected a few of them. I'm playing around with a few. We're talking about adding other things to the menu, hot dogs, maybe some flatbreads, some specialty items, constantly evolving the menu, what people like, what they want, adding specials. In addition to the sandwiches, I have some family recipes that are some regional, whether it be from Ohio or coming over from Hungary, that I'd like to incorporate with the menu. As far as our dessert menu, our name is Carnival Dogs Brewing Co. Thinking we kind of lean into the carnival aspect of desserts, funnel cakes, elephant ears, some deep fried Twinkies, deep fried Snickers bar. When you add these kind of desserts to a menu, think about the smells you get at a carnival or a fair with all that delicious fried dough that fills the air. And we can bring that aspect on top of food. You're going to get those brilliant smells in the brewery as well.
Speaking of smells in the brewery, when we thought we were going to have a food truck, is we wanted to do like homemade beef jerky and sell it behind the bar in mason jars. And it was a pretty simple menu. When you made that sandwich that night, it clicked. Why don't we just do sandwiches? These are delicious. And it adds more revenue for the restaurant and for the brewery. Let's do that. And we kind of transitioned into you doing the sandwiches in the open deli style kitchen so people can see you cooking and people can smell everything that you're doing, mixed with the open style brewery with the grain. I'm very excited about that.
What makes a sandwich good enough to actually make it onto the menu?
Again, it starts with the bread. I said I would like to make my own meats in-house, and eventually that would be a thing. Even more so, I would love to have an area where we could bake our own breads. A fresh, wonderfully baked bread will take any sandwich to the next level. Once we open, I don't think that's going to happen where we'll be able to bake our own bread. Finding the right baker to supply us the breads we need. Again, being intentional. There's one rule when I was at a food expo. They said to me, "You're the last line of defense before this food goes to the customer. And you have one basic question to ask yourself before sending this food out. Would you serve this to your grandma?" And that's the bottom line principle. Craft it with care and intention, but are you going to give this food item to your grandma to eat? Would you? And if you wouldn't, take it back, start over.
This is a very important question. Do you like sandwiches more than Homer Simpson, or is that an impossible standard?
I could go toe-to-toe with Homer Simpson.
Don't you have a sandwich named after Homer Simpson, Tristan? Or don't we have a sandwich named after Homer Simpson?
I do. It is a donut burger. Keeping with the whole pop culture theme of our brewery, a lot of New York style delis will name their sandwiches after famous people, actors, musicians, and kind of keeping with that same theme, our sandwiches are all named after sitcom characters that we all know and love, but not the real names, obviously. So we got the Rachel Green, we got the Cosmo Kramer, the Ricky Ricardo, we got a Homer Simpson.
How much does our beer or brews influence the food?
What complements beer? Sandwiches complement beer in general. Pizza goes well with beer. So somebody's sitting in a brew pub. What do they want to eat? when it comes down to pairing a particular sandwich with a beer, what are the flavors coming from the beer and how do they complement a particular sandwich? Our German Hefeweizen will complement a sandwich differently than an Irish stout would.
Are you thinking about sandwiches that you might make in the future to pair with beers that we have added into our lineup?
I do a little bit, but it's not going to stop me from making a particular sandwich. We're going to have a slider category, and we'll have a bratwurst and a kielbasa slider, both on pretzel buns. And those are going to go great with the German Hefeweizen and the Belgian wheat beers.
Do you remember the sandwich you were making that night when I came out to steal your food?
It was the Cosmo Kramer, pastrami seasoned turkey.
I don't know if I would have came out that night to steal your food if we would have gone down that road to really transition to a deli style open kitchen layout and all that stuff. That really started with that night. Let's just do this, man. This ain't gonna be better than this.
I'm in the kitchen, and I think I had my headphones on, listening to some music, and I'm making a sandwich. My dogs are behind me, hoping to get some turkey scraps. I turn around, and there's Jacob sitting down with the dogs, wanting his own scraps.
Oh, yeah. I was sitting there for like probably 3 minutes, just waiting for him to turn around. I'm like, I've gone too far. I'm not going to give up now.
Is there one sandwich that completely represents what you want the food on the menu to be that represents Carnival dogs?
We have some classic staples. The best sandwich I make might be the Pastrami Rachel, might be the most delicious, well-built sandwich. It's nothing of my creation, really. Classic standard recipe, house-made Thousand Island, grilled pastrami, coleslaw, Marlboro rye bread, Swiss cheese. You got to make sure that bread is grilled to perfection. You got to make sure that Swiss is nice and melted. House-made Thousand Island goes a long way. I will never use store-bought Thousand Island. Just it's 100 times better. Maybe the most unique I have is the Hank Hill, which is a smoked meatloaf sandwich, and I'm still playing with the recipe. I got the sauce down on that, and the smoked meatloaf is really good. I'm just fine-tuned the meatloaf itself to make sure it holds together appropriately for a sandwich. Probably choose the Hank Hill.
Did you mean for all those words to come out together, or did they just fall out randomly?
Didn't you create that, Tristan, on an Iron Chef contest a few years back? Or was that a different sandwich that you did?
That was some different ones. That was the Cleveland Beast, which will probably make an appearance on our menu under a different name. I also did a lasagna sandwich on that same menu.
Is a hot dog a sandwich?
No, but we will have some hot dogs on the menu. So we're all from Toledo, Ohio, and there's two major hot dog restaurants there. You got Rudy's Hot Dog, Tony Pacco's Hot Dogs. So my goal really is to try and recreate what those guys did with the hot dogs and the chili dog sauce. It's a pretty easily executed item. You know, you get a hot dog steam table, hot dogs stay nice and hot and plump for hours. Homemade chili dog sauce, some onion, yellow mustard. That's another thing is until we get our location, we're not going to know exactly how our kitchen setup's going to be and exactly what equipment we're going to have. Equipment we're going to have obviously in the brewery that I don't have here at my house to experiment with. Deep fryer.
Tristan right now makes all of his sandwiches in a 1974 toaster oven.
We grew up going to Cedar Point every year. Justin and I both worked at Cedar Point for a summer after high school. They have 3 spots to get French fries, the particular French fries at Cedar Point, but they're the best fries in the world as far as I'm concerned. So my plan is to recreate those fries in our brewery. And the key to those fries is a double fry method where you kind of blanch the fries at a lower temp, then you let them drain, and then you flash fry them at a hotter temp to get them nice and crispy. I'll be using 100% beef tallow for all of our food that is fried or cooked with. So no seed oils in our brewery.
Oh, I thought you chose not to use peanut oil because you weren't a fan of the comic strip.
Oh, zing.
By the way, when I worked at Cedar Point, I had 2 main jobs because I was a teen with no talent, so they stuck me in food. I did Bulgarian nuts, which after a while, you'd think it'd get old and it doesn't.
We could add that to the mix, actually.
Oh, love those. And then the other was if someone was to come in and they're looking for a good beer and they're not really a sandwich person, what would be your first recommendation to them despite the beer they're drinking?
So we have Nana's Chili Mac, which they'd probably like, chicken paprikas.
They want you to recommend a sandwich to them.
The Cosmo Kramer, which is the turkey, or one of the Italians, hot or cold. There's probably going to be a peanut butter and jelly on the menu with a little twist to it. The twist is
I'm going to bleep your mouth.
So there's some family recipes, and one of it is a chili mac that was very popular in Toledo back in the 30s and 40s. But when they closed, they published their recipe in the Toledo Blade. Our Nana had made that recipe our whole childhood. I have her recipe. I've made it. It's really delicious. Toledo chili mac will probably be entering the menu. And then we have another family recipe, chicken paprikas, which is a Hungarian dish that our grandfather brought over from Hungary when he immigrated here in the 30s. Basically pulled chicken with homemade homemade dumplings, and the sauce is made from the chicken broth and sour cream, paprika, and onions, and it's to die for.
What about chow chow?
I love chow chow. That's more of a snack / garnish. Might be a good idea to incorporate. Now, talking about garnishes, Tony Pacco's, we mentioned earlier, make the best pickles I've ever had. Their sweet hots are amazing.
If we get a liquor license, we have a pickled margarita using that sweet hot pickle juice. We named it Pickle Rick, and it's delicious.
We could put Tony Pacco's sweet hots in our.
Sweetheart store, you know what I mean?
What do you say really qualifies you to really put this menu together? Your passion, your experience, a particular event that really happened in your past?
So I am not a chef. I'm just a guy who likes to cook. My love of cooking has just grown over the years and gradually increased. Back when I worked at Gecko's and the Landings and I first entered the management training program, I entered the Iron Chef contest with a coworker of mine. We kind of, did the menu together, and we won actually company-wide. Her and I both collaborated on the menu. One of the reasons why we won is because the menu was sandwich driven. So it really featured to the lunch goers as well as dinner goers. And there was that lasagna sandwich on the menu, which was just something that was unique that you're not going to find anywhere else. And I really fell in love with cooking in the kitchen. And half the time it was just me and our chef, Hector, rest in peace. I really enjoyed working alongside him. We'd put music on. I really fell in love with cooking for people. I've been in this restaurant business for 30 years and I've done everything in the restaurant, front and back of house. There's not a position I have not worked.
Our grandfather, after he passed away, he loved to host. And then my dad kind of took up that mantle and he was the family host. And then once he moved away, you kind of took up that mantle. And I think your love to invite people into your home and cook for them is a major driving force for where you are today.
Good quality bread, that's the foundation. A quality meat sliced appropriately for that sandwich, not cutting the tomato too thin or too thick so it stays layered in that sandwich. I'm building the Cosmo Kramer currently. I use a boar's head gourmets. You spread that gourmets on the bread, then you layer on the veggies. The sandwich has alfalfa sprouts, nice plump vine ripe tomatoes. On top of that, you got the pastrami seasoned turkey kind of folded in. You don't want to just take a stack of turkey and slap it on. Layer each slice or two so it almost sits like a cloud on top of those veggies. Then you got the Munster cheese, and then the last slice of bread goes on top with another layer of that gourmets. You slice it on an angle and boom.
Why do you choose alfalfa sprouts over lettuce?
I think lettuce is weak and boring. Alfalfa sprouts,
I believe that as well.
alfalfa sprouts give such a nice texture and depth to the sandwich and adds so much more flavor than lettuce could. I will tell a little story. Shout out to our mom, Donna Santiago. When we were growing up, she'd always make us these pita pockets. And it was a pita that she'd cut down the middle, make it into a pocket, spread some cream cheese in there, and stuff it with, ham or turkey and alfalfa sprouts. And, it was a great snack coming home from the pool when we were kids or coming out of the lake when we were swimming on, Lake Erie.
Donna Santiago.
When I was younger, I was very, very picky eater. I loved crunchy peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. So she wouldn't let me just have a full peanut butter sandwich. So she would take 2 slices of bread. One bread, she would put peanut butter and jelly and then fold it in half. And then the other one, she would put some sort of lunch meat. When I opened up my lunch, my baggies, I didn't know what sandwich I was getting until I bit into that folded bread. I was like, always a nice surprise.
That's fun. I didn't know she did that for you.
Just really good memories. Coming from a family who loves to cook.
To better sum up what kind of kitchen I'm going to have, my dream is once we are up and running and I've really fine-tuned the menu, is to be visited by diners, drive-ins, and dives. That's the type of kitchen we're going to have, something you would see on that show. If Guy Fieri bites into my sandwich, the ultimate compliment would be from him.
You want to bring us to a close?
Everybody, thanks for stopping by today. As always, hail to thee.
Cheers, guys.
And remember, drink outside the box.
All right. Today's episode is brought to you by
Smacky S'mores.
If you don't eat Smacky S'mores, you hate children. Mom is going to be so happy she got a shout out.
Honestly, sometimes I forget.
Yeah. I think about it every day. Every day.
It's like, oh God. Oh, I gotta stop recording.